All right. So, a lot of the challenges that we go through, if it's not about motivation, if it's not about meditation, if it's not about inspiration, I don't want it. We're going to continue here. I had actually clipped up after the first part, which has to deal with focus. So, right now, I'm going to go ahead and start talking about how to put ourselves in a place where our mentalities start to work. Uh, so a lot of us, we compare ourselves to other people, and it's quite a blessing that today I'm talking about this. And it's not really for somebody else that we go inwards. It's not really within somebody else that we find ourselves. It's within who we are. It's inside of our ability to focus through our challenges, to put ourselves in a place where who we are inside starts to radiate light outwards, where who we are inside starts to use that kind of mentality. And it's inside of the ability to want things so bad that you're willing to die for them, that you're willing to become who you are on the inside, where your mentality has the ability to free you. You see, a lot of us have challenges. A lot of us have things that we go through. We have things that we face off against. And it's when we embrace those kinds of challenges that we have the ability to work through them. It's when we embrace that part of ourselves that we go inwards. It's when we get to that page inside of who we are, where we start to utilize the energy that we have inside. And see, the energy that we have inside is very real. The person that you are is very real. The challenges that you face off against are very real. And so when you face off against them, it's going to come down to your level of mentality. It's going to come down to your ability to go within yourself and to start to dig inside of you to ask yourself, can I face off against this part of who I am? And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. They're not willing to be who they truly are on the inside. They're not willing to go through their challenges at that level. And so if you ask yourself, how can I do that? How can I start to get there? This channel is for you. This channel is for the person who wants to pick themselves up, but doesn't want to stay in the poor me mentality. You see, you either enable your mentality or you disable your mentality. You are either moving forward in your level of focus, or you're moving backwards in your level of focus. Or you're either putting yourself in a place where what you're utilizing is coming out of you, or you're putting yourself in a place where other people are utilizing you. And see, a lot of people who become business owners, a lot of people who become contractors, they do that because they want to do it for themselves. See, the grind, the daily grind that we face off against, these hours, these just over brokes, come from a place where other people just want to do a position for somebody else. They don't want to wake up themselves on time. They want a person to put a schedule in front of you. When do you put the schedule in front of yourself? When do you become a master of your craft? When do you put yourself in a place where even if you're working with a team, you're actually working with a team of people that are professionals. You're working with a team of people that are perfecting their craft, that are putting themselves in a place where their mentality has the ability to expand. Their minds have the ability to open up. Their challenges have the ability to become overcome. And you see, I've been there. I've done that. I worked 50 hours plus a week for Chrysler. I drove 35 to 40 hours. I worked over 100 hours a week for over a year. I get it. I get your challenges. I get the things that you've been through. I've worked for the Walmarts. I've cleaned porta potties. I've worked for cemeteries. I've done those positions. I get it. You face off against challenges. It's when you open your mind to the ability to who you are. It's when you open the challenges that you go through, that the energy, the study inside of yourself has the ability to start to manifest. It's when you focus through the part inside of you, when you're so focused that you have the ability, that you can do these things, that you can believe in you, that you can manifest within yourself. See, a lot of us face off against challenges. A lot of us face off against the part inside of who we are. We face off against the being inside of who we are. We face off against the challenges that other people might not be willing to. And it's up to you to want it for yourself. You see, the injuries that I've been through, the things that I've gone through physically, mentally, and emotionally, it's not meant to hold you back. It's meant to help you to grow. Meant to help you to overcome them. It's meant to help you to be who you truly are. And you are all blessings. You all have things to work through. You all have things to manifest. You have things to focus on a point of challenge, right? Focus on a point where you challenge yourself, where you challenge your mentality, where you challenge your ability to be who you are, where it's no longer about somebody else, it's about who you are inside. And find that part of the thing that makes you who you are. Find that person that you are. Find that ability inside of yourself. See, a lot of people see it. And I asked myself when I saw the people like Les Brown, who spoke in front of over 1 million people, like, how do we open our mind to that ability? How do we open our mind to those kinds of challenges? How do we open our mind to that kind of self-honesty? And that's when I realized that the hardest trait on the face of the planet to work with is self-honesty. Why? Because when you're putting yourself in place, when you're becoming your boss, when you're writing down what it takes, when you're putting yourself in that ability for you to be who you are, when you're hearing this message and it is uplifting you, when you're putting yourself in a place where your energy starts to flow, where your challenges start to become overcome, where your things that other people might not utilize, that's going to require a level of focus. That's going to require a level of knowledge. That's going to require a self-study within you. That's going to require a self-ability for you to be who you are on the inside. That's going to require you to believe in yourself. And you see, the world, it teaches that when you believe in yourself, that is selfish. And that is not the case. When I was sleeping in my van and I was believing in myself, when I was focusing to the point where other people had everything and I had nothing. I had everything, because what happens when you believe in yourself inside is you can do amazing things. What happens when you believe in yourself inside is you can press past barriers. What happens when you believe in yourself, you have the ability to overcome your challenges. And the challenges that you face off against are not on the outside, my friends. They're not on the outside. The people that are facing off against the things, the people that are truly the most injured, are inside. And this message is for you. If you have things going on inside of yourself, if you are facing off against things, if you're putting yourself in a place where you don't know if you can wake up tomorrow, ask yourself these types of questions, the things that kept me alive. Is what I'm doing today, is it motivation? Is what I'm doing today, is it meditation? And is what I'm doing today, is it inspiration? And as I sat there in the sauna, as I breathed, as I bypassed barriers, as I put myself in a place even when I didn't even have a home, when I was sleeping in my van, when I was going through those kind of challenges, I knew that there would be a day that I would make it through it. I knew that there would be a day that other people would seek out this mentality. I knew that there would be a day that I would be able to help those people, that what I went through wasn't just for myself. It was to drive you. It was to drive you to believe in you. And you might be facing off against a divorce. You might be facing off against a job loss. You might be facing off against things. Dig inside of yourself and ask yourself what you want. Ask yourself who you want to become. Ask yourself what kind of challenges do you want to go through. Are you building your world? Are you putting yourself in a place where your mentality is starting to come out? Are you putting yourself in a place where your ability is starting to come out? Where your level of focus is starting to come out? Where your level of reflection is seen by other people because you are grinding on your grind to the point where other people are not surprised in your results? See, that is how you become a universal person. That is where the universe starts to yield to you. And people look at wealth, it isn't just in that place. It isn't just in that type of thing. It isn't just how financially wealthy you are. You see, you are who you are inside. You are the person that you are inside. You are the person that you want to become. You are the person that you put your energy into. You are the person, and I see it, when I started to read energy, when I started to get down to the ability to start to read energy, when I started to share that I could read energy, I saw people reaching out. I saw them reaching out asking, how is it possible to read energy? How is it possible to utilize energy? And I saw these people, the 3.5 years that I did telesales, the 2.5 years that I did car sales, the 5 years that I've been driving, the hundreds of people, the 100,000 plus people that I've spoken to in the last 7 years. It's because I started to search out positivity. I started to search out the being within. I started to search out the mentality. I started to dominate the ability to understand that energy is very real, that science is real, that being the positive thinking is actually a part of who we are, that for each action there's an equal and opposite reaction, that these challenges that we face off against is for us to be who we are on the inside. It's for us to face off against these types of things that we have, and the challenges that we face off against, and the person that we want to become. See, you have a student inside of you, and you have a teacher inside of you. You have a life. You have math inside of you. You have science inside of you. You have blessings inside of you, and you are focused to the ability to be who you are on the inside. You have the ability to overcome your challenges. You have the ability to be who you are. You have the ability to focus to that point, to use your focus and your knowledge, to utilize your level of discipline to be who you are and to focus through your challenges. It's up to you to get what you want. It's up to you to be who you are. It's up to you to face off against those types of things inside of yourself. Are you doing that for you, or are you letting somebody else do that for you? Are you putting yourself on a page where you are who you are on the inside? Are you giving yourself the ability to sit down and to use your focus and to use your knowledge that you have inside of yourself? And I ask myself this question: do I have that capability? And you should ask yourself that question: do you have that capability? What is the thing that's stopping you from becoming the best in your profession? What is it stopping you except for in your mind? And a lot of people stop themselves there. A lot of people stop themselves from achieving by getting the pay that they are looking for, by getting the challenges that they want, by being who they are on the inside, by being who they want to become. You see, we focus to that point where we use what we have, where we use these challenges that we face off against, where we use this level of focus, where we use this level of mentality. Each challenge that you face off against, each thing that you go through, each part of who you are comes from your mentality. You see, you are in charge of your month, you are in charge of your day, you are in charge of your week. But it's up to you to start to take it. It's not up to you to see the handicaps in this world. It's up to you to see the handicaps that help you to bring you closer to yourself. There are abilities for us to see the ability to overcome them. It's the able mentality. It's the ability to enable oneself, to dominate one's being, the ability to dominate one's mentality that brings us to a place where we achieve things. And the universe does yield to the one who's willing to do that daily. It does yield to the one who's willing to continue. It does yield to the one who wants to see the manifestation. It does yield. We have seen this time and time again. We have seen this in mentality. We see this in the ability to fly. We see this in the ability for us to have things like planes. At a certain time they imagined that the plane would happen. They didn't know how, but they continued to focus to the point where now they have planes. They continue to focus to the point where now they have the ability to put themselves in a place where now we have the ability to fly. And if they didn't open their mind, we wouldn't have such things. If they didn't open their mind and they didn't imagine in Star Wars, then we wouldn't have things like jetpacks. Like we really do have jetpacks now. And it's because we open our mind to the ability to achieve a level of mentality. Are you achieving that level of mentality inside of yourself? Are you achieving that a level of ability inside of yourself? Are you achieving that level of positivity inside of yourself? Are you dominating your being to the place where other people have nothing to see but you for you? And it's inside of oneself that self-honesty starts to radiate. It's inside of oneself where that knowledge and that focus becomes centered. You see, Einstein stated that mass and energy are interchangeable. Are you mass? Are you energy? Do you have knowledge? Do you have focus? Are you disciplined because you have a life? You have a purpose. You have a path. You are a blessing within this universe. It is up for you to see it for yourself. It's up for you to become it within yourself. It's up for you to utilize your level of self-honesty, your level of ability, your level of positivity to move towards the things in your life that are positive for you. And you see a lot of people, they'll acknowledge that. They'll say, yeah, sure. And then they go off for a mentality of good and bad. They start seeking out things and they utilize a positive thing that was meant to happen. They utilize a biblical point. They say, hey, look, this is good, this is bad. And as I watched my friend with stage 4 metastasized cancer dying inside, as we got past the point that good and bad don't exist, what exists is positive and negative forces from a point of self-honesty. That when you become positive, you see, the thing is, when we look at the story even that brought this good and bad to be, that in the beginning, God saw that light was good. The part that people forget, my friends, is that God divided the darkness from the light. Are you a light in this universe? Are you a blessing in this universe? Can you see the point before the choice of good and bad? Can you see the point of positive and negative forces within the universe? Can you see the yin? Can you see the yang? Can you see yourself centered within that, in the mastery of being oneself? Sure, the Chinese like to call this Kung Fu. Sure, the Japanese like to see this Feng Shui in action. And that is what it is, my friends. Utilizing yourself, utilizing your mentality. As Bruce Lee once said, when you put your whole self into it, your focus and your knowledge, your breath, your internal, your external breath, your level of meditation, your level of being, your level of ability inside of yourself. You got to put your whole self into it. You got to be patient with yourself. You got to give yourself the ability to have observation, to have liberation, to have a mentality inside of oneself where it isn't a war against somebody else, and it's a war in your mind, and you can take the battlefield within yourself. You can take the being within yourself. You can take on the challenges, because you know that when you give yourself the ability to focus and you give yourself the ability to use the knowledge within yourself, you can overcome the things like pain. You can overcome the things like fears. You can overcome the things like emotions. And see, a lot of people that come to me, they ask me, can you overcome emotion? When you study yourself, you can start to seek out positivity. You can start to seek out self-honesty. You can start to seek out the person from within. You can start to seek out the manifestation. You see, the one who kicks 1,000 kicks, Bruce Lee, I fear the man who kicks 1,000 times. You see, I have videos on a daily basis where I talk about focus for a minimum of 30 minutes. I talk about meditation for a minimum of 10 minutes. And I talk about discipline for a minimum of 20 minutes. And I'm talking about over 365 days of this kind of mentality. I'm reminded on a daily basis when I was selling cars and people were saying to me, wow. And I remember after I left there and I came and worked a day for the general manager. I remember that day. I went and worked that job and he had known what he had lost. I remember that day that they knew that this universal yield was not surprised in the results. I remember the day when I decided that I was going to do this and it was going to become a part of who I was. I remember the day when I wanted to help other people out. I remember the day when I heard Les Brown's speech that if you want to achieve the impossible, you have to do it for yourself. I remember that day. I remember the day when I went from writing stuff down, where I was studying people, where I was meditating inside of the sauna, till I broke a barrier that they called humanly impossible, a 5-hour time frame inside of a sauna. I remember that day when my nerves seized on me, and it was my choice to live or die. I remember the day when I chose to live over dying. And I focused to that point where I realized that what is going on inside is self-knowledge, where self-liberation comes from within you, where self-focus comes from within you, where self-being goes focus beyond focus, knowledge beyond knowledge, to the point where focus and knowledge become centered within oneself. You see, we have focus, and we have knowledge, and we have discipline. We are a place of discipline. We are a blessing on the face of the planet. We are a being within this universe. We are human beings. We are meant to be present within ourselves. We are meant to face off against challenges. We are meant to go through our challenges. We are meant to be who we are on the inside. And you see, a lot of people don't give themselves that kind of permission. I was in that place for 8 years. I was in the place where I allowed somebody else to tell me what to do. I allowed myself to be in a place where somebody else chose how I cut my hair. I was in a place where I was shaving my eyebrows on the outsides and I wasn't being who I was on the inside. And that person inside of who you are woke up one day. That person inside said to myself, I can no longer do this. I can no longer be this. And I woke up sleeping inside of a car telling myself, I know who I am. I also watched a yogi who thought he was on top of the world tell a whole entire people, you don't know who you are. Okay, the person who studies themselves, this universe yields to. This universe gives the ability to uplift. This universe gives the ability to become a master of one's being, a master of that light, a master of that understanding, an expansion from within who you are. And I call that person out. I call that person who said that, I tell them who you are inside is what matters. Who you are inside is what matters the most. The student, the teacher inside of you, the master inside of you, the lessons, the universe that we have around us, the blessing, the Most High God is asking you to be yourselves, asks you to be who you are on the inside. And when you use your focus and you use your knowledge to the place where you become centered, when you truly become a place of discipline, when you truly face off against your challenges, when you truly become honest within yourself, the focus inside starts to utilize you. The person that you are inside starts to use your challenges, and your mentality starts to come out. Your ability inside of who you are starts to radiate light outwards. See, a lot of people seek it out. They seek it out instead of going within. I've seen pictures of people out there who try to find a master to teach already what exists inside of you. See, when people seek me out, all they're seeking out is themselves, because what they're looking for is ready within who they are. And I'm telling you, this profession, this mentality, this ability inside of who you are is what it's about. This level of discipline, this level of reflection, this level of results, this level of ability for you to focus past your challenges lives within you. It lives within your being. It lives within your presence. It lives within your vibration. And you see, people come into your world and they join you on your journey. They join you on your path. They join you on your purpose. And until you find it inside of yourself, you ain't gonna have you. And that is what it's about. Being who you are on the inside, using your level of discipline, your level of focus, your level of ability, your level of blessing, your level of answer, your level of being. After all, you're a blessing in this universe. You are absolutely a blessing. Your being is a blessing. Your challenges are a blessing. And you see, you are a blessing when you are honest with yourselves. So focus to that point where focus and knowledge radiates light of inspiration. Where other people see you as a light in this world, where your knowledge becomes an expansion, where your being becomes a purpose, where other people become uplifted because you come their way, where other people become inspired because they see you, where other people become inspired because they know that what you've done is be yourself. We've seen these people. Michael Phelps, another inspiration to me, was known for swimming 2 to 3 times the Olympic athletes' swimming routines. It's inside of yourself, no longer comparing yourself to other people, that you find liberation. It's inside of who you are that the blessings start to radiate outwards. It's inside of your being that you find a manifestation to be who you are. See, a lot of us are reminded by our scars. We're reminded by our abilities to the things, the reasons why we didn't focus. When do we allow them to teach us the lesson that we can achieve our dreams? We can achieve our goals. We can achieve the person that we are inside. And we can believe in who we are. That we can overcome these types of things. That we can become kinder to one another. That we can be in such a way that the universe yields back. That the universe has the ability to work for us. That it teaches us the lessons that we need to gain the knowledge behind. My friends, you are blessings in this universe. And it ain't going to happen for you until you hear what I'm saying and you start believing in yourselves. Until you hear what I'm saying and you start to find yourself like I found myself, hit in the face by life, hit in face by the challenges that I went through, hit in the face by the belief that we can go through these things, that we can manifest this being, that the level of focus, the level of knowledge, the level of discipline is within. Can you get to the place inside of yourself where you are focused beyond focus, knowledge beyond knowledge, discipline beyond discipline, where you become the classroom, where you become the connection, where you become the link in the universe, where you become the matrix within yourself? We are a blessing that started this journey. Don't ever forget yourself. Don't ever forget who you are. Don't ever forget that you are a blessing within this universe, that your challenges are not here to stop you. They're here to help you to grow. They're here to uplift you. They're here to tell you that you can be who you are on the inside and that your light has the ability to radiate outwards. Have you found that place of focus within you? Have you found that place of mentality within you? Have you found that place of vibrance that allows other people to see you for you? Are you an inspiration in this world? Are you uplifting other people? Are you putting yourself in a place where your challenges and your ability to focus and your knowledge is being applied, where you become an inspiration, where your whole entire being is put into it, where your whole entire mentality is put into it, where your whole entire reflection gives you the ability to overcome your challenges? When you focus to that point, my friends, the universe has the ability to use you as an inspiration. And I've seen it time and time again. People hearing my messages across the face of the planet. People hearing what I'm having to say. People sending the messages and leaving the comments on the Periscope, the YouTubes, the Facebooks, the Instagrams. And I hear you. I hear you. If your team needs this kind of uplifting, reach out to me. If you're going through a challenge, reach out. Leave comments. They're welcome to leave comments here. I do respond to comments, and I enjoy them. I enjoy to hear your stories. I enjoy to hear how this kind of mentality uplifted you and your teams and your professions and your challenges. You know, you might be in school hearing what I'm saying. You can utilize that in this place. Study the way that you study. Study the way that you face off against challenges. Study the way in which the results come back. Study the professions that you have and the being that you are. Study the purpose that you have inside of yourself and the person that you want to become. Focus to that place where you use what you have inside of you, where you become a light in the universe, where the light inside of you starts to radiate outwards, where the being inside of you starts to radiate outwards, where the focus inside of you starts to radiate outwards. And recognize that who you are on the inside is a blessing. The challenges that you go through are a blessing. The things that you face off against are meant to be a process, that you are a process in the universe. When you leave blessings for other people, what happens for you is that you become a blessing. And I want you to see this on a daily. I want you to see this on a weekly, a monthly, a yearly. I want you to see this that you can achieve your dreams. And I want you to see that a reflection of self-knowledge is self-love. When I asked myself, can I help people to achieve that light inside of who they are? Can they achieve it within who they are? The answer that I was given was self-honesty, my friends. Be who you are on the inside. Light up this universe with your being. Be the person who makes the challenges possible, makes the ability possible. Focus to that point where you achieve your dreams. As I close, I just want to say blessings to